Amber slammed her fork so hard the ornaments rattled. Stacy, stop begging for money. Her voice cut through the Christmas table like a blade. Tinsel glittered. Candles trembled. Even the turkey seemed ashamed to steam. Heat crawled up my neck. Dad looked away. Mom pretended to taste gravy. No one stopped her. No one ever did. But something shifted inside me. Small, sharp, final. Not anger. Recognition. A quiet place in my chest clicked open. A place that had been waiting years for this moment. My name is Stacy Hart. I'm 29. And this Christmas, silence stopped protecting them. Not me. They called me a beggar at a table I'd secretly been funding. Before I continue, tell me where you're watching from. City, state, or country. So I can welcome you to Echoes of Life. I wish that moment shocked me. It didn't. Christmas after Christmas, I played the same role. The quiet sister. The convenient helper. The one they praised for endurance, not worth. Amber was the star. Perfect smile. Perfect life. Perfect lies. She never struggled. She performed success, and they applauded every scene. I learned young that silence kept the peace. I kept it so long it felt like obedience. But behind that silence lived numbers. Cold, precise, unforgettable. The Christmas she bought a Tesla with maxed cards. The Christmas she cried in my kitchen, terrified of losing her house. The Christmas I opened my bank app and chose loyalty over pride. $52,800. 3 years of payments, every month, every late fee, every emergency, every lie she fed the family to keep her princess image alive. They saw me as broke because I worked a flower shop job. They didn't know the truth behind that shop. It funded my first online store, then my second, then my third. Candles, eco-decor, floral designs shipped across 42 states. While they whispered about my little dreams, my revenue paid her debts, her mortgage, her credit, her survival. And she still mocked me tonight. With the same mouth that once begged me to save her kids' home. Mom always said I needed to grow up. But I did. I grew up into the person keeping their Christmas intact while they laughed at me. They mistook my quiet for weakness, not bookkeeping. After dinner, everyone drifted toward the living room. Christmas music floated from the speakers. Amber's kids tore wrapping paper under the glowing tree. The room smelled like cinnamon and tension. I stayed behind, stacking plates, steadying my breath. Rick walked in first, loosening his tie. He smirked like always. "You still working that flower shop job?" he asked. His voice carried pity wrapped in superiority. "Must be hard making ends meet." I almost laughed. He had no idea those ends met in my hands. From the couch, Amber bragged for anyone listening. Her investment property. Her great credit. Her goals for next year. Funny. The mortgage was 3 months behind. The bank had called me, not her. Because the house wasn't hers anymore. Not legally. Not since the day I signed the deed. I watched her through the doorway, half hidden by the wall. Gold dress. Perfect curls. Practiced confidence like armor. The same woman who once whispered in my kitchen, "Please don't let them take my house." I rinsed a plate and checked my phone. 9:58 p.m. 2 minutes left. The countdown only I knew about. 3 months earlier, I'd canceled the auto payment. Not out of spite. Out of self-respect. Out of exhaustion buried in my bones. For 3 years, every due date meant the same ritual. Me at my tiny table after closing the shop, laptop open, eyes burning, transferring money to cover a debt that wasn't mine. I told myself it was temporary. Temporary turned into routine. Routine started feeling like chains. So I set the cancellation date for December 25th. Christmas. The day I promised I'd stop saving people who mocked me. At exactly 10 p.m., Amber's phone buzzed. She froze mid-laugh. Glass halfway to her mouth. Another buzz. Then another. Her smile wavered. She checked her screen. Her face drained to chalk. Payment failed. Account past due. Urgent notice. Risk of default. She shot me a look. Sharp, desperate, pleading. The same look from 3 years ago. But this time I didn't move. Didn't stand. Didn't rescue. Amber whispered, "Stacy, did you?" I met her eyes calmly. "No," I said. I just stopped. I walked in, wiping my hands on a dish towel. Opened my banking app. Turned the screen toward her on the coffee table. Her name filled the history. Monthly payments. Labeled Amber Credit Relief. 3 years. Without a missed month. A slow gasp moved through the room. Amber trembled. Her lies trembled louder. They finally saw the truth written in numbers, not stories. "If this were your family, what would you do?" Drop 1 if you'd stay quiet to keep the peace. Drop 2 if you'd bring receipts, even if it shattered Christmas. Dad leaned forward first, confusion tightening his jaw. Amber, what is this? He asked finally. He sounded like a man discovering fire burns. Amber shook her head too fast. She's lying. She edited it. She's jealous. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The truth was already glowing from my screen. Mom stepped closer, clutching her holiday sweater. Stacy, stop this. It's Christmas. Amber has a good job. A Tesla. She manages fine. I exhaled slowly. She bought that Tesla with maxed cards, I said. Cards I paid month after month. Amber snapped, voice cracking in the middle. Don't twist this. I just needed help. A little help. I nodded once. $52,800 of help. The room froze again. Christmas lights flickered across stunned faces. Even the tree seemed to lean in. But I wasn't finished. Not yet. Not when truth still hid deeper. I picked up the remote from the coffee table, tapped my phone screen, and sent one photo to the TV. The living room lit up blue. A Miami hotel bill filled the screen. Amber's name on the reservation. 2 champagne flutes on the table. Her hand across white linen. Another man's hand holding it. Rick's jaw fell open. His breath left him in one sharp exhale. What the hell is this? He whispered. Amber stuttered. It's fake. She's making this up. You know, Stacy. I tilted my head, studying her. Actually, I know you, I said quietly. My voice stayed soft. Too soft for the impact. While I paid your debt, you spent money on weekends with him. Same card, same account, same pattern every month. Mom covered her mouth with shaking fingers. Dad stared at the floor. Rick's eyes never left the screen. You used her money, he whispered. You mocked her at dinner, and you used her money. Amber started crying. Big, dramatic sobs. But they didn't land tonight. Not the way they used to. I stepped closer. This isn't revenge, Amber, I said. It's exposure. You called me a beggar, but I was the one holding your world. She collapsed into the couch, mascara streaking, hands shaking. Stacy, please, don't do this. Not on Christmas. I stared at her for a long moment. Then I said the quiet truth. You did this, I answered. I'm just done hiding it. The tree lights blinked quietly behind me. The house smelled like pine and reality. Their perfect Christmas shattered, not from cruelty, but from documentation. And finally, everyone saw the ledger. She called me a beggar while spending my payments on her affair. The room sagged under the weight of truth. Amber's sobs echoed softly, breaking against the ornaments. Rick stayed near the door, stunned and silent. Mom wiped her eyes, still shaking. Dad looked older than he had an hour ago. But I wasn't done. Not when the deepest truth still sat sealed in my folder. I reached into my bag, pulled out a thick envelope, placed it gently on the coffee table. The same table Amber used for her perfect Christmas photos. Dad frowned. What now? His voice carried dread, not anger. I slid the envelope toward him. Open it. He hesitated before pulling out the papers. Property deeds, mortgage transfers, bank notices, my signature on every page. Mom leaned forward, painfully slow. Stacy, what is this? I folded my hands. The house Amber lives in, I said calmly. The one she loves showing off online. They stared at me, waiting. It's mine. I bought it 2 years ago. Amber's head snapped up. Her mascara ran like ink. You what? I kept my voice steady. The bank contacted me when her mortgage collapsed. She was one payment away from losing everything. Mom gasped. Dad's mouth fell open. Rick covered his face with both hands. Amber shook her head violently. No, you're lying. That's impossible. I tapped the top page. It's legal. Stamped. Recorded. Verified. Rick grabbed the document next. His hands trembled. You mocked her. You humiliated her tonight. And she literally owned your home. Amber reached for me, desperate. Stacy, please. Don't kick us out. The kids. We can't. I raised a hand. I'm not cruel, Amber. My tone stayed even. You and the kids can stay. She blinked, confused, relieved, terrified. But things change now, I continued. You treat me with respect. You stop lying. And you stop using me as your safety net. Mom covered her face. We were wrong, she whispered. All these years, we were wrong about you. Dad stared at the deed again. His voice cracked. You saved her home. You saved all of us. I shook my head. No, Dad. I saved myself. Amber sobbed quietly into her hands. Rick looked at me with something like respect. I felt the room rearrange around new information. The hierarchy they'd worshipped for years finally tilted. For once, no one asked me to fix anything. No one told me to calm down or be kind. They just sat there, forced to live with the math. In that moment, quiet felt heavier and stronger than shouting. They called it Amber's house, but the deed had carried my name all along. The house felt strangely quiet after everything settled. No shouting, no excuses, no demands disguised as love. I stood near the window, watching snow drift across the lawn. For the first time in years, my chest didn't feel tight. I wasn't bracing for the next crisis. I wasn't waiting for another favor. Peace felt unfamiliar, but real. Solid. Earned. Mom approached me slowly, wiping her face. "Stacy, can we start over?" Her voice shook like she didn't recognize herself. I nodded, but gently. "Maybe one day." When honesty is the foundation, not guilt. Dad joined her, quieter than ever. "You did good," he muttered. It wasn't an apology, but it was the closest he'd ever come. Behind them, Amber sat small on the couch. No glitter. No attitude. Just a woman learning what consequences feel like. She whispered, "Thank you for not kicking us out." I met her eyes. Thank me by changing. Later, my phone buzzed with apologies and explanations. I set it face down on the dresser. Some messages don't deserve an answer. I grabbed my coat, stepped outside into crisp air. Snow cracked softly beneath my boots. The sky glowed faint silver, as if resetting itself. When I reached my car, I finally inhaled deeply. Not the shaky breath of someone surviving, but the steady breath of someone free. I whispered into the cold air. I wasn't the weak one. I was the backbone. And this Christmas, I finally put myself back in my own story. Freedom came when I stopped carrying what wasn't mine. If this story stayed with you, please like the video. Share it with someone tired of holding everything together. And subscribe to Echoes of Life for the next quiet strength story.